I'm Chris Williams, and I currently serve as the executive director for vertical engineering in a company that builds zip lines and rope courses here in the upstate South Carolina. I'm here to have a conversation about something that may not be so easy to talk about in the world of athletics, our mental health. I want to start off by telling you why mental health is so important to me as a member of the coaching community. I've worked in the industry for nearly 30 years and moved from being a college basketball player up into the coaching ranks, coaching women's basketball at the collegiate level for 12 years, and from there into an administrator role as a collegiate AD. I noticed that as I moved along, I got further and further away from the relational aspects of my job, from feeling connected to the very people I was leading. As an administrator, I felt more and more like I had to look strong. I had to look all put together, and it was the most isolated I started to feel in my lifetime. It wore me down. It wore my mental health down, and I wasn't prepared for that. As coaches, we are constantly forecasting what will come. As a basketball coach, we're thinking the offense is going to run this against my defense. As a baseball coach or a softball coach, we're constantly thinking about situations. It's 2-2 in the count, and we predict that they're going to throw us a curveball here. We try to stay prepared, one step ahead. So by that same token, how are you preparing for your own mental health? How are you preparing when the times get tough? How will you deal with that? I didn't do that with my own mental health, and I found myself at the lowest point of my life and finding out that I was dealing with clinical depression and anxiety. And I looked around and went, how did I get here? Then I realized as I worked to pull myself out of that with the help of my wife, who has a master's degree in social work, through a trained counselor, with medication, my faith, and then reconnecting with my friends, I realized that there are so many people out there dealing with this, more than I had ever realized before, and that I wasn't alone. But that's the lie of the whole thing, that this thing tells you that it is just you. And in athletics, there's the added layer that you just can't show it because it's a weakness, when really it's quite human. The typical athletics mentality, mental fortitude, mental toughness wasn't the answer. I have something going on chemically and I just can't control it, and I needed a certain kind of help with that. And you know what? It's okay. We have to listen to our own message. As coaches, we preach things like lean on your teammates. You can't do this by yourself. Here's the game plan. We say that every single day about our sport. But we're not doing our whole job as coaches if we don't teach our athletes that it works the same way for our mental health. Because the truth of the matter is, every single one of us has mental health, just like we have physical health. And sometimes our brains and our minds need some support, just like our bodies do. Athletics tells us that at any point you have an injury or you're struggling emotionally, spiritually, or socially, in whatever way, that you've got to cast that aside and man up. You would never want your athlete to hide a physical injury from you. You would always want them to let you know what was going on so that you could care for them. The same thing has to be true for their mental health, and our students are struggling there. According to research that's come out about this past school year, 7 out of 10 of our students said that they're experiencing some kind of trouble with their mental health. 67% are pretending they're doing better than they actually are because they don't want to worry anyone. So they try to deal with it on their own. And 79% said they wish there was a safer place to talk about their mental health at school. The good news is that we as coaches have an opportunity to do something about that. Like it or not, when I asked students who they would go to if they felt themselves or noticed a buddy struggling with mental health, they would say us, the coaches. We owe it to them to be prepared for those moments. And we need to signal to them that we are safe to come to and that we are prepared. And NAMI wants to help too. So we've come up with an easy way for you to start this conversation in your community by hosting a mental health awareness night at one of your games. Our slogan for the night is Go Lime Green, Mental Health Matters. Our goal for the evening is to simply help community members, students, and parents normalize talking about mental health. And we're going to do that through a short PSA to be played at halftime, in which the Atlanta Falcons' Hayden Hurst will share his personal story, current statistics, encourage us to normalize talking about our mental health. He'll also give a call to action, directing families to a flyer with information on how to attend one of NAMI's Ending the Silence webinars, which will teach them even more about how to support their students' mental health. And finally, a table will be manned by a NAMI representative who can talk to people about support groups and local resources with a banner for students to sign, giveaways, handouts, bracelets, magnets, and more. We'll do all the heavy lifting. All you need to do is to be about this. Get your student athletes excited about this night. Attend the Ending the Silence presentation yourself to learn more about how to be supportive and to care for yourself too. And coach to coach, I'd like to leave you with a couple thoughts to mull over. Take it from someone who had to learn the hard way. We have to take care of our own mental health and our well-being, not only so that we can do our best coaching, but also so we can be very aware of any warning signs our student athletes may be sending us, because we're aware of our own and know what to look for and pick up on. Asking for help with your mental health doesn't make you weak. It makes you incredibly intelligent. You're using your resources just like you'd go to that trainer for a strain or an ankle sprain. We have to cast away some of the old thinking in athletics and replace it with, I can be strong and talk about my mental health. We can do both.